Calon FM. Ein gymuned, ein gerddoriaeth.
It's all showbiz!
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Now, actress Louise Breckon-Richards is currently running, no pun intended, in her own brand new one-woman show called Can You Hear Me Running? And that's running literally at the London's Pleasance Theatre. The story tells of the true events of when Louise, the actress herself, she actually lost her ability to speak completely, and obviously as a professional actress that ain't good. So thanks to a rare condition that she developed on her larynx, she had operations to sort it out, and then she became a marathon runner to help her aid her recovery. I caught up with Louise midweek to talk to her about this miraculous story, and I started by asking her simply how it all began.
It started, I had these vocal issues sort of a long time ago now, about 5 or 6 years ago, and I had something on my vocal cord called a sulcus, which is like a little bit of tissue missing,
right?
Which means the vocal cords don't come together properly, so you can't, and that's why it's really breathy, and it took me ages to sort of be able to speak properly. God. So they had finally identified this thing, which meant then they operated on it, and then I had like 2 weeks of total silence, couldn't speak at all.
Because of orders, or because of you literally couldn't?
Yeah, because the operation's so delicate, and the vocal cord's so tiny and fragile that, for it to be able to heal properly, I wasn't allowed to speak at all. So yeah, it was really, really difficult, and it was kind of doubtful. It was like, we're not sure you'll be able to perform again. So it's devastating, isn't it? When you're a performer, it's your tool, isn't it? I'm also a bit croaky. I had a horrible cough just before doing the show. I was like, no way!
The irony.
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Is it true that you went to an audition and lost your voice at the audition, or was it before?
Well, what happened? It was a sort of gradual. It was deteriorating very gradually, because at the time I was still kind of doing TV and commercials, and I was running a baby and toddler music group as well, and it was getting weaker and weaker. But in the audition for Mamma Mia, which is so upbeat and, lively, it just kind of cracked in the higher register, and I knew that something had kind of gone wrong, wasn't right, and that I wouldn't be able to sort of audition at that level again. And I just thought it was a cold, and I just thought it was something, but as these investigations went further and further, like, no, there's an actual problem, and that's why it's gradually getting worse.
So when you hear these things, and people say, it's such a rare thing to get, and then you panic yourself, don't you? I mean, everyone must come and see your show and think, that could happen to any of us.
Well, it could. And I think, even if you weren't a performer, you forget how much you lose, that you use your voice, in daily life with your kids, or if you work over a telephone, or you're a teacher. Well, how many ways you have to communicate, vocally. So I think what's great about the show and the reaction is that everybody can relate to sort of losing something vital that you use every day, and what do you do? How do you deal with it? You've got 2 young kids, and you're trying to tell them to do something. They have to write it down, but they can't read because they're 50 years old. I guess, and the running, I suppose, came in, fortunately, at the same time. So I took up running. I was never that healthy in my 20s.
No.
Lots of partying, going out drinking, and stuff. But in my 30s, I was a bit, I wanted to be a bit healthier, and took up this running, and it became a bit of an addiction, and actually it became a bit of a relief with everything else that was happening with my voice. And I built up my distances, and then signed up to the London Marathon. Crazily.
Wow. Well, you've said that like it happened overnight, but obviously there's a lot of work, isn't it? I mean, I was terrible.
Training.
I was such a bad runner at school. Yeah. I was awful at it. It used to make me feel sick. And I started doing the couch to 5K thing.
Oh yeah.
And I started doing that started in the new year. So a bit like you, I was going to start the new year, with all good intentions.
Yeah.
And then I did something to my ankle, and I think what it was because I bought such rubbish shoes. I bought rubbish trainers.
You should never buy rubbish trainers. The paper
I know that now.
We can't afford to do that now, Andy, in our 40s, you see.
Oh, but I mean, the
These
pain...
little niggles.
Was it literally like a therapy thing, or was it just something to sort of get you up and moving?
I just started doing... To be honest, I was never a big runner. You know, I've been inspired by my mates growing up. My mate Rachel Woody, who I grew up with in one of this, and then other friends in London, Caroline Tash, and my mate Jen. They all ran the marathon years before, while I was still kind of watching them, you know, drinking half lager and stuff.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
Yeah.
But actually, there came a point where I thought, no, I'm going to test it. So I'd run around the block for 5 minutes and think, oh, that's all right. And then I'd do 10 minutes, and then I tried 20 minutes. And before I knew it, I was running 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And actually what it was doing was all the endorphins that were being released was making me just feel a lot better and less tense around my throat. So when I was recovering from the surgery, it was just putting me in a better place mentally. You know, it was just making me feel less anxious, more relaxed and sleeping better. I mean, I've got to say, you know, running it's never an easy thing.
No.
On, you go, oh, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who kind of goes, oh, as soon as they start running, yeah, you're brilliant. It's like,
I know. Yeah. I mean, for me, it wasn't the fact that, you know, my legs hurt or I feel a bit tired or anything. I can live with that. It literally just makes me feel ill. I mean, I want to be sick.
Yeah. Maybe running's not your thing, Andy.
You said
Try
it,
yoga.
Gil.
Go for yoga or Pilates instead, I think. And if you're a talker as well, which I am, you know, I'm a chatter. I chat to anybody on the street. You can ask my children. I'll just be like chatting to the neighbours, chatting at the school gates.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere. Then when you can't do that as well, it's like, oh my God, who am I?
It must have been.
So
I mean, apart from it being
really
frustrating because of your job and everything, it must have been so scary.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and all that stuff. You know, we trained at Guildhall School of Music and Drama, and you do all your voice exercises.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll always be fine. You know, this will always be my strong point. It's a muscle that's really strong. It's the thing that's carried me through. It's been my livelihood, really, over the years. Because I think it'd be of real interest. There's lots of different groups, actually, because I think runners, athletes, a lot of running in the play, but performers, people interested in music and stuff. But there's the story of Wales as well. You know, that's a massive part of it. It's all about my childhood and growing up and being influenced by my granddad who lived in Lees Woods, you know, and the music that he gave me. We've been trying to get in touch with Tamara Harvey, who Steve, my husband, met, about bringing it up to Clwyd. We've got like projections of Mulvamai on it. Do you know what I mean? It's so suited to coming up to Clwyd. But I think it's just when they've got space and what you can bring with it money-wise, really, you know, the higher charges. So we've got Arts Council England money, so we'd have to probably chase the Welsh side of it, I think, if we wanted to bring it up there. But we'll see anyway. Yeah. Just get this out of the way first. Might never want to perform ever again after this.
How long's the run for now?
3 weeks.
God. So the girl that wrote it, Jo Harper, did you just basically sit down with her and tell her your life story?
Yeah, and basically we met, and then we spent 2 years, because we did a scratch night of it, and then we did a research and development period last year where we got some Arts Council funding as well then. And it's all been a process of research, listening, looking at my blog entries, because I wrote a marathon blog. So a lot of it was taken from that, from my diary entries, from notes that I wrote. There's lots of information that I just gave her, and she listened and wrote them down, and then we looked at stuff together. So it was a big collaboration, actually, and also working... my husband's directing it, Steve Grillo, and he obviously knew what had happened as well, so he added stuff. So, she's great. She just wrote a beautiful script from kind of taking it all on and listening to it all.
I mean, it just goes to show how long this process is. Because I mean, literally, I remember like a couple of years ago, and you put something, I think it was on Facebook or something, saying I'm doing this thing, doing a one-woman show. And I thought, all right, well, there you go, do that then. Yeah. And then it was almost like a year later. You said, I'm going to do this show, and it's going to be on, you know, it's going to be streaming live.
Well, the thing is, when you're trying to get funding as well, it takes a long time because it takes ages just to fill out the form. They're dense, you know, those funding forms, and then you have to wait about 6 weeks to hear back from them. Yeah. But all this time in between there, you're trying to secure activity partners, and you know, you're setting up the production, and you're bringing all your creatives together, you know, like movement people and the lighting, projection, stage management. And that's what's brilliant about this time, is that we've been able to, through the Arts Council, we've been able to get like a lot more people. It's not a one-woman show, it's like a 9-10 person show, really.
Yeah.
Because
you always
really
imagine
hard,
it's the easiest thing in the world to do a one-person show, because all you need is you and a room, Have you got somebody doing live music as well?
We've got a brilliant musical director called Dan Glover, who'd recently been American Idiot. He took inspiration from my kind of running tracks, and also kind of old songs that I used to audition and sing, and some of my my granddad's really old sheet music, and then he's created his own soundtrack for it. Really, he's got his own piece, and that really adds to the story as well, because music's really important in the play.
Yeah.
So he kind of underscores the whole play,
right,
beautifully. But also he's kind of involved on stage now. We have a great relationship on stage,
so you involve him as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
right,
there's times where he doesn't speak, but we're aware that he's on stage with me, and I'm reacting and I'm responding to him. It's just lovely. It's really nice having somebody else there as well,
Yeah.
But his musical score that he's written is just brilliant, because there's a lot of modern tracks that sound like modern tracks, immersed with the more old-fashioned stuff as well. So it's good. We've got projection by Ava Oster and design by Adrian Gee and Steve Kirkham, who's done the movement this time, and then Steve Greer, the director, Tom Turner doing lighting, Sophie, stage management, loads of people on board.
Real.
We've just had a couple of cracking reviews come in this morning.
Real.
Nice one from the stage. And Theatre News 1 have just given us a really lovely one. So it's great, because it's always hard to sort of suddenly be under scrutiny when you've been working on something for quite a while, and it's been a lovely creative process. But it's also nice to be recognised,
Yeah.
and go, well, I'm still here and I'm still doing it, and this happened, but actually decided to fight it and not flee, So.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It feels like a really empowering experience, actually, the whole thing.
So there you go. That is Louise Breckon-Richards, who is performing in her very own one-woman show, Can You Hear Me Running? And that is playing at the London's Pleasance Theatre until the 23rd of October. If indeed you'd like to go and see it, tickets are just £12 and £10, and the box office is 0207 609 1800. That's 0207 609 1800. And as I say, she's a local girl, so the idea of bringing her very own show back to Theatre Clued, where it all started for her, I think that's going to be a pretty good idea. Thank you very much, Louise Breckon-Richards. Fantastic. What a lovely girl.